Me, 24, just a regular dude. Got invited to spend the weekend at my best friend's house. He says, "Bro, my mom's chill. Don't make it weird." Me, "Why would I?" Doctor opens. The mom walks in. Not just any mom. This woman looks like she walks straight out of a Gothic fashion magazine. Black dress, dark lipstick, silver jewelry catching the hallway light. Eyes sharp like she could kill a man and still make it elegant. And she's looking right at me. "You must be Daniel," she says, voice smooth and slow, somewhere between velvet and danger. Shake her hand, she holds it a second too long. Brain, error 404. Friend completely unfazed. "Yeah, that's my mom. Like, this is normal. Bro, your mom looks like your sister. Dinner is weird." She sits at the head of the table like a queen in her dark castle. Asks me polite questions in that way that somehow sounds like interrogation. "And what do you do, Daniel?" Construction engineer." She raises one eyebrow, like she already knows my credit score. Friend talks about sports, games, all normal. I try not to choke on the lasagna because every time she looks at me, my spine gets confused. Then she smirks. And it's not a kind smile. It's the kind of smile that makes you forget how to use utensils properly. "You're quiet," she says. Trying not to say something stupid, I blurt out like a champion of smooth talk. She laughs, warm but teasing. "Smart boy." Friend doesn't notice a thing. I'm over here internally updating my entire worldview, because no one warned me his mom would be hotter than every girl I've dated combined. Later that night, everyone's asleep. I can't. Brain keeps replaying the way she laughed at dinner. The kind of laugh that gets under your skin and sets up permanent residency. Get up, head to the kitchen for water. Lights already on. She's there, in a silk robe, hair down, glass of wine in hand. Looks less like mom and more like final boss of every teenage fantasy. "Can't sleep?" she asks. "Yeah," I mumble, trying not to stare at the robe situation. She leans against the counter, calm, controlled, dangerous. "My son snores like a dying walrus." I'm surprised anyone sleeps. She offers me a glass of wine. I take it because refusing a goth queen at 2 a.m. feels like how horror movies start. She tilts her head, studying me like I'm a puzzle she's deciding whether to solve or break. "You're not like the other friends he brings home." Is that good or bad? We'll see. 10 minutes turn into an hour. We talk about everything. Work, music, bad horror movies. She's sharp, funny, and way too good at making me forget I'm talking to my best friend's mom. Then she steps a little closer to put the glass in the sink. Too close. I can feel her perfume, warm and dark. She looks up at me. We're way too close for this to be legal in at least 5 states. "Daniel," she says slowly. Yeah?" "You blush too easily." She walks away, leaving me in the kitchen gripping my glass like it's a lifeline. Next morning. Pretend nothing happened. Pretend I didn't have a late-night goth wine scene straight out of a questionable fanfic. Friend's already in the living room, playing games. His mom walks in like it's a runway. Black dress again, this time with boots. I swear even the house seems quieter when she enters a room. "Morning," she says, sipping her coffee. Meanwhile, I'm clutching my mug like it's holy water. Friend doesn't notice anything, because of course he doesn't. He's talking about the new update in his favorite game. She casually sits on the armrest of the couch, right next to me. Every nerve in my body, alert, alert, alert. She leans in slightly to grab something behind me. Hair brushes my shoulder. I swear my soul leaves my body for a second. "You're jumpy," she whispers, just for me, smirk playing at the corner of her lips. Friend's still talking about patch notes like the world isn't falling apart. Later, she asks me to help carry some boxes from the garage. Innocent task, right? Wrong. The garage is warm, quiet, smells like her perfume. She bends over to grab a box, and I immediately reconsider every moral principle I've ever had. "You okay back there?" she asks without turning around. "Yeah," I say in a voice that cracks like a cursed violin. She chuckles softly, like she knows. Friend walks in, just in time to ruin my impending heart attack. "Bro, why are you red?" "Allergies?" "Allergies to temptation, apparently." Afternoon rolls around. Friend gets a call from his coworker. Spontaneous overnight shift. "You cool if I head out?" "Mom'll feed you. She loves feeding people." Yeah, that's not suspicious at all. Door closes behind him. Now it's just me and her, the goth queen, alone, in the house. She's sitting at the table, scrolling on her phone with a glass of wine. "Guess it's just us tonight," she says, not even looking up. Voice calm, confident. Dinner's quiet. Every time I look up, she's already looking at me. Not like a mom, like a woman who knows exactly the effect she's having. After dinner, she offers, "Movie?" Sure, why not? How bad can it be? 10 minutes later, I'm on the couch. She's right next to me. Not the other end of the couch. Right next to me, horror movie starts playing. "You like scary movies?" she asks. "I work construction, not the military. I can handle fake ghosts." She smirks, leans a bit closer. "Good. I'd hate to have to hold your hand." Halfway through the movie, jump scare happens. She doesn't even flinch. I do, like a coward. She laughs softly and places a hand on my knee. Just to tease. But that small touch might as well be a full cardiac arrest. The room gets quiet again, TV light flickering on her face. She turns her head toward me slowly. "You're cute when you're trying to act tough," she says. No joke. I forget how to breathe for a full 5 seconds. Movie ends, credits rolling. I haven't heard a single word of the last 30 minutes. Because all I could think about was how close she was sitting. She stands up and stretches, silk robe peeking out from under her sweater. Who even casually looks like this at home? "You can stay the night if you want," she says, like it's no big deal. My brain is a Windows error sound. Are you sure?" She nods, calm as ever. "Guest room's made up, or," she pauses, slight smirk, "you can crash on the couch if you're afraid of the dark." "I'm not afraid of the dark," I blurt out too fast. She raises an eyebrow, clearly entertained. "Good." Later, I'm in the guest room trying to sleep. Keyword, trying. Because every sound in the house is suddenly amplified. And also because my brain decided to replay every smirk, every look, every whisper. Then, soft knock on the door. "Daniel?" It's her. I open the door a little too fast, like a man who doesn't know how to play it cool. She's standing there barefoot, hair loose, wearing a black silk robe, like some dark siren that spawned in the hallway just to destroy me. "Can't sleep?" she asks again, but this time it's different. Softer, lower, closer. I shake my head because words aren't real anymore. She steps closer, close enough that the scent of her perfume just wraps around me. "Neither can I," she whispers. And just like that, the air between us changes. Heavy, charged, dangerous in the best way. She doesn't say anything else, just looks up at me with that calm, dark smile, like she already knows exactly how this night's going to end. My heartbeat sounds like someone dropped a drum kit down the stairs. I try to say something clever. What comes out? "Hi." She laughs quietly, warm and a little wicked. "You really are cute." She steps even closer. Her fingers brush my jaw, light touch, but it's enough to short-circuit me. "Relax," she murmurs, like I'm the one losing control, which I absolutely am. The next, she leans up and kisses me. Soft at first, almost testing me, then not soft at all. Her hand slides into my hair. Mine end up on her waist without me even realizing. Somewhere in the distance, a rational part of my brain is yelling, "She's your friend's mom." The rest of me isn't listening. She pulls back, smirk still there. "You've been blushing around me since dinner," she whispers. I want to deny it, but I'm still catching my breath. And yeah, I'm done for. The night becomes one long blur of bad decisions that feel way too good to regret. The next morning is complicated. I wake up in the guest room, brain doing Olympic gymnastics trying to process the night. She's in the kitchen like nothing happened. Pouring coffee, hair tied up, wearing a robe that's way too distracting for someone making breakfast. "Morning," she says, calm like a Bond villain who already won. "Morning," I croak back, voice cracking like I'm going through puberty again. She sets down a mug in front of me. "You look like someone who saw a ghost." "More like, got run over by one," I mutter. She chuckles, takes a sip of her coffee. Not a single hint of awkwardness on her face. Meanwhile, I'm internally screaming like a kettle about to explode. Door opens. Her son walks in. My friend. I nearly choke on air. "Hey man, you crashed here?" "Yeah, long night," I stammer. She looks at me, then at him, poker face flawless. He doesn't suspect a thing. He grabs cereal. She and I silence across the table. Every sip of coffee feels like a federal crime. She leans closer and whispers, "Relax, I'm not telling." And just like that, my soul leaves my body for a second time. He finishes breakfast and leaves for work. Door closes behind him. Immediate silence. Me and her sitting at the table like two suspects in a crime drama. She looks at me over her coffee mug. "You're jumpier than a rabbit at a dog park," she says, amused. "I slept with my friend's mom." I think Jumpy's justified. She tilts her head, smirk forming again. "You're not complaining, though." I nearly drop my cup. "That's not, last night was—" She interrupts, calm as ever. "Fun?" Yeah, she's enjoying this way too much. She stands up, walks around the table, leans down until her lips are almost brushing my ear. "You're cute when you're panicking," she whispers. She straightens, smooth as if nothing happened. "You should come by again. Unless you scare easy." I open my mouth to say something smart. Nothing comes out. She just laughs and pats my cheek like I'm a flustered kid. And that's how I realize I might be in way deeper than I planned. Next few days. I try to act normal around my friend. Keyword, try. Every time he talks about his mom, my soul does a backflip out the window. "She's been in a good mood lately," he says casually. "Yeah, I bet she has." We're hanging out in the living room. He's talking about work. I'm nodding like a malfunctioning NPC, because all I can think of is her whispering in my ear that night. Then she walks in. Tight black dress, hair done, red lipstick. The kind of outfit that could probably end civilizations. "I've got a dinner thing tonight," she says to her son. "Don't wait up." Then she looks at me. Just a tiny smirk, so fast he doesn't notice. But I do. Oh, I definitely do. Friend goes back to talking about football. Me, not hearing a single word. Brain, replaying that smirk on loop. And in that moment, I realize this isn't going to stay casual for long. Week later, I somehow convince myself we can just pretend nothing happened. Yeah, good joke. Friend invites me over for another movie night. Me thinking it's just him and me. Door opens, she's there too, in a black silk robe again. Of course she is. "You're here?" she says with a smile that could melt steel. "Yeah," I managed to croak like a man who's already lost this battle. Half an hour later, friend falls asleep on the couch, snoring like a dying tractor. She glances at him, then at me. "He sleeps like a rock," she whispers. "Yeah." Means no one's going to hear anything. My heartbeat, bass boosted. She leans in closer, pretends to grab the remote. Her hand brushes my thigh. It's definitely not an accident. "Relax," she murmurs, low enough that only I can hear. "We've done this before." I want to say something clever. What comes out is a sound somewhere between a sigh and a squeak. She smirks again, wicked and calm. And in that moment, I know. I'm not escaping this woman. A couple weeks later, this thing between us has turned into an unofficial schedule. Friend leaves for work or a trip. She texts. I show up. We pretend it's casual. Problem, pretending is getting harder. She doesn't just flirt anymore. She teases me in that quiet, confident way. Always calm, never flustered. Like she knows exactly how to make me lose balance. One night after dinner, she leans back in her chair and says, "You've gotten bolder." I choke on my drink. What do you mean?" She grins. "A few weeks ago, you couldn't even look me in the eye. Now you're the one staring." Guilty. She stands, walks over behind me, leans down and whispers, "Careful. If you keep looking at me like that, I might start liking it too much." My brain basically melts into a puddle. And right then, she opens the bottle of red. "I felt like something different tonight," she says, eyes glinting. She doesn't grab two glasses like a normal person. No, of course not. She tilts her head slightly, presses a finger against her collarbone, then slowly pours the wine so it trickles down. From her skin to her finger, from her finger into the glass. "Want a drink?" she asks, like it's the most innocent question in the world. Spoiler, it's not. The air is heavy, electric, like we're both standing too close to a storm. I take the glass, not taking my eyes off her for a second. 5 minutes later, the wine is forgotten. The world is a blur of heat and heartbeat. Everything is loud and quiet at the same time. When it's finally over, I'm lying there, half dazed, chest still rising too fast. She smirks, calm as always, and takes a sip from the same glass. "Told you it would be different tonight." sunlight slicing through the curtains like it's trying to rat us out. Wake up staring at the ceiling, still half convinced last night was a dream. Every muscle sore in that very specific, yeah, that happened way. She's next to me, arm lazily draped over the pillow, hair a little messy, face way too calm for someone who just broke my entire brain. I turn my head slowly. She catches me staring, smirks like she planned this months in advance. You look like someone who saw a UFO. Honestly, feels like it. She stretches like a cat that owns the world. Meanwhile, I look like a guy who just found religion. Regret it? She asks, eyes locked on mine. Not even close, I say way too fast. She moves closer, rests her chin on my chest. Good. I don't waste my time on one-night mistakes, brain short circuits. That was not just a fling. She just casually declared war on my emotional stability. You look like you're solving advanced math, she laughs. Didn't expect this, I mumble. No one does. And then she snaps her fingers. Boom, you're in deep. She laughs, kisses me quick, and slips off to the bathroom. I'm left staring at the ceiling, fully aware that there's no going back anymore. A few days later, things between us feel different. Not bad different. More like the moment in a game when the music suddenly gets serious and you know the boss fight is near. She's texting me more, not just her usual sharp one-liners, actual check-ins. Did you eat? Don't forget your jacket. You're mine Friday night. And she says it so casually that my brain just accepts it as law. Friday night arrives. I knock on her door. She opens it wearing black, looking unfairly good. I swear she could say tax season, and I'd still be ready to follow her anywhere. She pours me a drink like nothing happened between us. But the way her eyes linger says otherwise. There's this tension hanging in the air. Not awkward, more like inevitable. We talk, joke, flirt. The usual chaos. But at some point, she leans in closer, hand resting on my chest, soft but firm. You keep looking at me like that, she says. You're going to end up staying again. I try to sound smooth, but my brain has already filed for emotional bankruptcy. Maybe that's exactly what I want. She smirks, that slow, confident smirk that basically says, you're screwed and you like it. And yeah, she's right. We don't even pretend to fight it this time. Later, lying there again, her head resting on my shoulder, she says quietly, almost like she's testing the words, you know this isn't just fun for me anymore. And just like that, my carefully built emotional defenses fall faster than cheap IKEA furniture.